David Kasi here together with Rita. We are getting into a very, very important discussion because we have been joined by a doctor this morning, and many times you hear these random conversations. Sometimes they're not random, it's actually a conversation that you need to know. Blood groups. Many times, many of you don't know which blood group you fall under, and many ask, what is the importance of knowing my blood group? Does it change my lifestyle, my life, or the way I live my life? Does it really matter, me knowing my blood group? Well, this morning it's the discussion we're having, and we're looking at blood groups, the importance of knowing your blood groups. And together with us in studio is Dr. Tamale Ishmael from Timex Nutritional Center. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Blood groups.
Yes.
This madam here doesn't know her blood group.
It's a pity.
How sure are you that I don't know it?
I know.
Memory has failed me here and there, but I do know it. And I think the most important comment. Let's start with, as we talk about blood, there's importance. It flows through us each and every single day. We know that if you do not have blood in your body, it's a very, very critical thing. But what is blood and how important is it to you, doctor?
First of all, we have to understand what blood is and where it came from. That's when you appreciate what we are going to discuss. Of course, initially people thought that blood was in human being like water in a bottle, until in 1628 when when William Harvey was a scientist, discovered that actually blood circulates in the body. And that was all. Blood circulates in the body. They knew it was there. They know there were blood. There were platelets, plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and that's all. Then they found out its function. Or when it saturates, it is the one which goes on giving nutrients to various parts of the body. It is the one which collects the waste out. It is the one which regulates the body temperature. It's the one which regulates the pH and also keeps the temperature normal throughout the body system normal. And that was all that was known about blood. That until 1818, when a man called Dr. James Blundell discovered that actually you can get blood from a human being and put it in another human being, and both of them survive, because women were dying because of losing blood during birth. So the first blood transfusion was successfully done in 1818 by Dr. James Blundell.
1818?
1818, yes. And by that time, the blood groups were not known. They were just giving blood anyhow. Others would die, others would survive.
O would give A would give O.
A would give B, and that one would die. They say God did it once.
Yes.
They could bring
Whoever survived it was good.
They survived it, that was good. So whenever somebody is going in for blood transfusion, you have to remain outside praying, until when the doctor would come up and say it's dead. Because so that is how it went on. And that process continued for 83 years until 1901, when Dr. Karl Steiner discovered the blood groups, which we're going to talk about. When he discovered the blood groups, then it was discovered that actually blood group A can give A, O can give everybody, B can give B, and like that. That's when successful blood transfusion, which we are talking about today, became successful. That was in 1901.
Wow.
And up to now, people think that blood groups are only known for transfusion. That's the 1901 thinking and mentality.
But we're in 2019. So let's change that mentality.
So it went on. People did not believe. Karl Steiner was not believed. Just like today, there are people who argue about the blood group diaries and so on. It was there. They argued Karl Steiner is a liar. It's not what he's saying is not correct. All your blood is the same. It is all red. It has A, B, C, D, F. Until 1930, when Karl Steiner was given a Nobel Award, they said, "Oh, absolutely, what he's talking about is correct." Now, when the blood groups, now the intelligent people like the Japanese, for them, they had gone beyond blood group for transfusion and giving it to people anemic. They discovered ability in blood groups. And actually, if you read the history, by 1930, the Japanese army was organized according to blood group. They know who's supposed to be on the front, who's supposed to be in the intelligence.
Based on their blood groups.
Exactly. Now that, okay, for them they were doing it until now when it has picked up globally in many areas of the world. Then some group of Americans led by Dr. Peter Diadamo, in 1940 they started doing the research. James did the research and Peter finished it. And they discovered that actually blood groups are also very crucial in our dieties. That they discovered that the foods we eat has got what we call blood sugar antigens. So if you are eating a food which has blood sugar antigens, which are against the antigens on your blood group, there is a reaction which takes place. But now the reaction is not going to be like transfusing A into B, because when transfusing into AB, that's death immediately. But now, as the period goes on, you go on developing ailments. So that's why the food goes on bringing a slow, protracted, calculated gorilla war in your body system.
So you're saying you could have a slow death based on what you give your body according to your body type.
Of course, before I even go further, diabetes mellitus, high blood pressure, cardiac problems, fibroids, arthritis, and so many others. What microorganism cause them? That is the gorilla of the foods into the body system until it reaches you where you are going. So they discovered that actually the blood groups now played a very big role in the diet. And what the first thing that they discovered first was the stomachs. Every blood group body system has a different quantity of acid in the stomach. And if you are going to eat foods which are not compatible to your blood group, not compatible to the acid level you are having, you are going to have a problem. For example, I can give you an example. If you look at blood group A and blood group AB, they have very little acid in their stomachs. That's why they cannot digest most foods, strong foods. That's why they're major victims of constipation. They're major victims of food poisoning. Why the acid cannot kill the microorganisms which have come on the foods. Why the blood group all have a lot of acids? So they become major, if they're eating wrongly, they become major victims of gas in the stomach, ulcers, and so on. So that is how the blood group, the first thing that was discovered about the blood group. Now it started mattering in foods we're eating. The body system are different and they react differently to different foods. The foods we eat has what we call blood sugar antigens, and if you are eating foods which are against the blood sugar antigens on your body system, your reaction will start up slowly by slowly. 2, the stomach. People, the stomach acids differed. 3, there is what we call lectins. Lectins are small micronutrient compounds found in the foods we eat. And these lectins, they behave differently in particular blood groups.
Okay.
For example, you can find lectins in matoke. Okay? They agglutinate body cells, blood cells of blood group B, but not for all. So if a B is going to eat matoke, he's going to have an accumulative problem of agglutination of cells, which may lead him to diseases in the long run.
Doctor, before we get people confused, because there's a lot of information here which is relatively new.
Yes.
First, there's some things we need to get out of the way. How many blood groups do we have?
Okay, fine. We have basically 4 blood groups. We have blood group O,
Okay.
which is the majority in the world. They make 45%.
Okay.
We have blood group B, which is about 11%. Then you have blood group A, which is 40%. Then you have blood group AB, which is 4%. That makes 100%. Now those plus and minuses you see, they are just a subdivision of the blood group. You may be blood group A plus or A minus. When you are A plus, it means you have a blood sugar antigen, which was also discovered on the rhesus monkeys. That's why you see, that's why the doctor will put there A rhesus positive. A rhesus monkey. I mean, you have the blood antigen from the rhesus monkey. If you don't have the blood antigen from the rhesus monkey, you are A minus.
So now that we know the blood groups on a basic level, is it really very important for a human being to know their blood group? And
absolutely, very, very, very important.
How important is it?
1, in case you get an accident, transfusion of blood becomes very easy. That's why in organizations where they are expecting casualties and so on, they have the blood groups always in their identity cards. And actually now, it is also helps you if you moved with it and you have an accident, they know that this one is blood group A, they know what blood to give you. That's the first one thing that you have to know. Number two, because not everybody is going to get accidents. You can find yourself, you have never even got an accident to switch blood. But dieting. You have to know which foods to eat according to your blood group and genotype to avoid diseases, treat diseases, and make your body system healing and live a disease-free life.
Where do you put the strength bit of things? A number of times you'll see someone very built. They have the muscles, they have everything, but lifting things. Because when you mentioned the fact that in Japan, the army was organized based on your blood type, does it also have something to do with the strength that you have as a
Okay, I'll show you how maybe one thing I skipped from 1918, we went 1901. So the first blood group data came out in 1997.
Okay.
It was perfected in 2004, and now the genotype data 2010, which we are doing currently today. Okay. You were asking about strength. Yeah, I'll tell you. For example, apart from the food, that's one part we looked at. If you are eating wrong foods, you are going to have trouble having diseases. And actually, also, before I go to ability, the blood groups help us to know who will fall sick of what and die of what.
Really?
Yes.
So
I can give you an example. We have blood group A and blood group AB. First of all, most of them, especially those of particular genotypes, most of them, they don't have enzymes which are supposed to break down cholesterol. It's called intestinal alkaline phosphatase. They have it in very limited quantity. What does that mean? If you give them a lot of fatty things, they are going to end up with food poisoning. If they eat a lot of these garbage foods, they are going to end up with high cholesterol, weight, cardiac problems, clots, stroke, and high blood pressure and diabetes mellitus.
Wow.
That's their disease.
So that's why maybe if David and I ate the same amount of food, a number of times, that person is always eating, but they don't
the
seem to
results
be
are different.
gaining weight.
Exactly.
Well, we're eating
Absolutely.
the same food, and he could end up with food poisoning, and I'll be fine. It could
If
be
you
based
wait
on the
on
blood type.
on a function and you have a blood group A, a blood group O lined up on a buffet, and they all pick the same foods, blood group O will sleep very comfortably, blood group A will not sleep. He will not. And in fact, if you want on functions, you find them, they are very picky, they are very choosy, they understand their stomach. But maybe because they don't have this information, they don't understand it properly. But that is it. That is it. So that is on that side. We can know who will fall sick of what. For example, blood group O, they are major victims of allergy because they have a very strong immune system. They have fucose as the only blood sugar antigen on their bloods, so they have a very strong immune system. And because allergies come as being a very strong immune system, they have a lot of gas. They have a lot of acids in the stomach. If the acids are utilized, they are going to bring things like ulcers. They are going to bring things like gas in the stomach, and at the same time, H. pylori, there's a bacteria called H. pylori. It likes blood group O because it has fucus isolated. So we know so the blood groups help a lot to identify who is going to fall sick of what and why. Okay. Then also things like arthritis, they are more of a blood group O problem because they have the immune system sort of clogs the lectins and the clog cells into the joints. That's why they are major victims of that. Then they are very major victims of things like asthma, sinuses, then prostate cancer in men. Then they are also major victims of things like high blood pressure. So you can tell, so the blood groups can also be, for us, we use them to know who will fall sick of what and who is going to die of what.
Okay.
Doctor, for someone who's out there that doesn't know their blood group, what would you recommend them to do? Where would you recommend them to go? Because it's very important. Can any doctor tell me my blood group?
No. Yes, any clinic can tell you about blood group, but they're not going to tell you what to do with it. They're going to tell you that the best you can do with a blood group is for blood transfusion.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Now, if you want classified information like this, you have to come to an Nutrition Center. That's where you can get this information. To know, this blood group, what should I eat, what should I do? Then we was asking about the character, why Japanese were putting people on the
Yes.
Now, the blood groups determine character.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what that was what the Japanese were studying in the first 30 years between 1901 and 1930.
Doctor, you have a chart of those blood groups and their characters because I imagine
To help you understand
Yes.
people more.
Yeah, for example, you go to blood group O, okay? Their stress profile lies in the muscle. That's why they are, you see, a blood group O cannot sleep until a job is done. They are very hard-working people. And because they are very hard-working people, their stress profile lies in the muscle. Now, if a blood group O is annoyed, he can cry, he can yell, he can shout, he can go and tell everybody. Then after that, he says, I say, I'm satisfied. Me have abused him. Me have told him. Then the following day, he has forgotten about all that. And he's doing something else.
Okay.
Like you said, 45% are blood group O.
And
Which is the biggest number of the people we...
And by the way, we'll not even talk about distribution. If you look at the distribution, 50% of blood group O's in the world, they live in Africa.
That still explains a lot, Doctor.
That explains a lot, definitely.
Yes, that explains a lot.
I think, Doctor, we're going to have you one more time,
Yes.
and the next time we have you,
Okay.
we want to look into these characters and blood groups, and I think that will help us a lot, so that the viewers can personalize the people they know according to blood groups and their characters. When you know you're dealing with that, or you know how to deal with them, they will abuse you and then get satisfied.
Yeah. So let them abuse you.
So allow them to do that and don't take offense. Anyway, that is Dr. Tamale Ishmael from Timex Nutrition Center, and we will definitely have you back again, Doctor, because of that last statement you made.
Yes. Not because of anything else.
We would love to know these blood groups and their characters. We will definitely have the doctor back. Yes, thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us this morning. We have been taking a look at blood groups, and is it of any importance for us to know our blood groups? And like the doctor said, it is very important because it predicts a lot, like your nutrition, the way you behave, and
the diseases you're prone
exercise
to.
profile, the diseases you're prone to. We'll definitely have the doctor, like I said before. We'll have him back here, and hopefully we can dig more into that. Right about now, we're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll be getting into reality on the ground. Morning at 10 TV continues.
The comedy stone country too.